Ever get this feeling like your whole world is about to just, I don't know, completely unravel? That's got to be the reality for this police officer. We found this blog post, and, well, let's just say, get ready for a wild ride.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so picture this. You're a cop, right? And you get another call about a jewelry store.
Oh,
The thing is, you know this place, like, way too well.
right.
But this time, under the mask of one of the people robbing the place, is the last face you'd ever expect, your own daughter.
Oh, wow. Talk about a punch to the gut.
Yeah.
You can really feel the officer's pain in his words. This isn't just another day at the office gone wrong. This is a father facing something unimaginable, arresting his own child. His words, they practically scream betrayal, confusion, just this desperate need to understand.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we're diving into today. We're going through this story, putting all the pieces together from his blog post. The title really says it all. I was forced to arrest my own daughter. Her revenge broke my heart. It's Rush. He talks about these late night calls, always that same jewelry store, this feeling like something awful was going to happen, like he could sense it.
It's interesting, the mental space he's in even before the arrest. Police officers, especially in smaller cities, they develop this almost sixth sense about locations. The same places, the same kinds of calls. It creates this eerie familiarity. It's like a broken record stuck on repeat.
He even writes, this wasn't just any tip-off. Something felt off. Almost like he knew deep down that this call was going to change his life forever.
Yeah, there's definitely some underlying tension there. Maybe even a subconscious awareness of something being wrong in his daughter's life. Remember, this is a father who, until this moment, probably had a very different picture of his daughter in his mind. This wasn't just a case. It was like reality just punched him in the face.
And the way he describes getting ready for the heist, securing the perimeter with his partner, every sound, every shadow magnified, you really feel like you're there with him. You feel the weight of what he has to do.
That pre-operation tension is a universal experience for officers. But imagine that on top of this nagging feeling that something is just not right. Like a pressure cooker about to explode, and he has no clue what's about to hit him.
So they're in position, the tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife, and then boom, it all goes down. This group of figures in masks, they're in sync, moving with a purpose that makes you think they've done this before, breaking into that jewelry store.
And that detail, the way they moved, it's huge. Experienced officers, they pick up on the smallest things. Body language, how comfortable someone is under pressure. It tells you a lot about a person's past, their relationship with crime. Of course, he had no idea he was about to come face to face with his daughter's relationship with crime.
Then the truth just slams into him. The masks come off. It's his daughter, Emily, staring back at him, caught red-handed. Talk about a cruel twist.
In that one heart-stopping moment, his whole world falls apart. The person he swore to protect, to love no matter what, is on the other side of the law, shattering the image he had of her, of his family, of everything.
He says it was like someone just pulled the plug, you know? Everything went silent, the world stopped making sense.
And in the middle of all that shock and confusion, his training kicks in, his duty as an officer. Just think about it. Having to arrest your own child. The emotional weight of that, it's just unimaginable.
It's like his mind is split in two, the cop and the father fighting each other. And you see that struggle in his writing, especially when he talks about driving back to the station. He mentions this heavy silence, how Emily just shuts down completely, no explanation, no fight, just silence.
That silence is really something, isn't it? You could see it as shock, sure, or even defiance, but maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's Emily's way of grabbing back some control in a situation where she's lost everything. Silence can be powerful, especially in a relationship where things were already unbalanced. We don't really know the family dynamics yet, but it's definitely something to think about.
It's like she disappeared inside herself, and he's left out here trying to understand. You can practically feel his desperation as he talks about those silent moments, asking himself over and over, what did I do wrong?
That's such a natural reaction for a parent, that need to find where they messed up, how they could have changed things, fixed things. It shows the guilt, the weight of responsibility, but also the love that's just woven into being a parent.
This is where things get really interesting, where we start digging deeper into his experience, looking for clues, for those unspoken truths that might be hidden underneath. Remember that line from before? This wasn't just any tip-off, something felt off.
Exactly. Those flashes of intuition, of premonition, they make his blog post so gripping. It's like some part of him already knew something was wrong in Emily's life, even if he couldn't admit it to himself. Or maybe he didn't want to see it, holding on to the image of the daughter he thought he knew.
So we have Emily, locked in this silence. and her father trying to deal with this tidal wave of emotions, confusion, anger, this crushing guilt that's threatening to drown him. He's trying so hard to make sense of it all, to reconcile the Emily he thought he knew with the Emily who was just arrested for robbery, the girl behind the mask.
That's like two different stories colliding. The stories we tell ourselves about the people we love smashing into the often messy reality. And that gap, that chasm between how we see things and how they truly are, it can be incredibly hard to bridge.
It makes you think about all the stuff families don't talk about, Those secrets buried deep down. Sometimes they just have a way of exploding when you least expect it.
It's true. Every family has its own hidden story. You've got the love, the loyalty, yeah, but also those darker parts, the unspoken fears, the disagreements, even betrayals.
Yeah.
Sometimes those hidden threads, they're the ones that end up weaving the whole tapestry.
It's heartbreaking, really. This father pouring his heart out, blaming himself. But you also have to wonder about Emily, about why she's being so silent. What made her do it? Was she desperate? Was this some kind of rebellion? Or is there something else we're missing completely?
It's easy to want to analyze everything, to try to figure Emily out based on this one story. But the truth is, we only have a tiny piece of a much bigger puzzle. We don't know her side, her reasons, her struggles. It wouldn't be right to think we understand her just from her father's perspective.
That's a good point. It's like we're trying to put together a puzzle, but half the pieces are gone. We can guess all day, but without hearing Emily's truth, her story, we'll never really get it.
And that's what stays with you, isn't it? The power of what's left unsaid. The way family secrets can shape entire lives, often in ways we can't even imagine. Even in the closest relationships, there are things we might never fully understand about each other.
This deep dive, wow, it's been a journey. The rush of the heist, the weight of betrayal, that heavy silence. And it leaves us with this question hanging in the air. Can this father and daughter ever really reconnect? Can they move past this and find some way to heal and understand each other?
That's the million-dollar question, and honestly, there's no easy answer. Healing, it's possible, but it takes honesty, being willing to be vulnerable, and facing those unspoken truths head-on. It's a long road, often with bumps along the way. But the chance for forgiveness, for reconciliation, it's always there, even when things seem impossible.
This case, it's complicated, it's messy, but it shows us the real side of family. It makes us think beyond the surface, to remember that there are always things we don't say, and to handle those situations with empathy. Sometimes the most important journeys are the ones that bring us back to each other.